Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Zita. I am with Zita's Healthy Beginnings, a World of Women podcast. I'm glad you all are here for another conversation tonight. So today is November the 8th, and I hope everyone got a chance to vote. As you all know, that's our responsibility as citizens to really choose who we want to represent us. I voted, and hopefully everybody voted. So tonight I have my dear friend Harumi, who will also be talking to us about herself and what she does. By now, you guys are familiar with Harumi. She brings a lot of good stuff to us and shares a lot about what she does, her gifts and talents. And so before I pass it on to Harumi, I want to actually remind us that this month is the month of awareness, prematurity awareness month. And what does that mean? So we know that every month we try to bring an awareness to different topics that really pertain to us, topics that influence our lives, topics that are very critical that we all need to pay attention. So this month we are talking about prematurity, babies who are born before it is time for them to be born. For women, women carry babies for 9 months before babies are born. And they're expected to, after 9 months, to have really had all the features that are very essential for them to live out outside the uterus. And for some reason, some babies are born before they are really mature. Babies of this nature could be born 37 months before 37 months is completed. So any baby that was born before 37 weeks is completed, that baby is considered as a premature baby. And here in the United States, it is really concerning that 1 in 10, every 10 babies is born premature. And the cost of maintaining premature babies is quite expensive. I mean, it runs in billions. It's about 25 point something billion. It costs the United States. So we want to look into actually what is the cause of prematurity in babies. So pretty much the causes are geared towards the mothers. So a woman that is really more than 40 years old or younger than 20 years old. So these are the two extremes that you will find in some women who end up having premature babies. Some of the other causes also, we look at women that have multiple pregnancy, like multiple babies. So if they have twins or triplets or quadruplets, there's a tendency for the babies to be born premature. You also have other factors like when the woman has a problem with either her cervix or the uterus or something is not really, right. That can also cause even something like infection can eventually, if not taken care of, could cause a woman to have a baby before it's time. Smoking is another one. We are really struggling in our own the obstetrics and gynecologists, obstetricians and gynecologists. We all are trying, midwives, everybody, nurses, all the healthcare providers, we're all aware of how detrimental that can be, smoking. When women smoke, that can really cause a woman to have, especially during pregnancy, it can cause the mother to have a premature baby. So smoking cessation is one of the things that we offer our mothers. In fact, before they get pregnant, we try to encourage them, educate them, let them be very much aware of what could happen. Even some mothers also who are doing some drugs, some of the drugs that people think is not, like pain medications, some of these strong medications these days, and the cannabis, people think that some of these medications, they take it for one reason or the other. It's always important that you look at the side effects of some of the medications, especially for women, for young women, and know what that the side effects are, as far as, you know, pregnancy and causing premature birth. And the environment where we live in, the environment where women live in, contribute a whole lot. Some of them live in a very unconducive environment, and all of that play a role in the woman when she's pregnant. So we want to really pay attention to that. These are not, you know, the list is not exhaustive. There are other things that might cause a woman to have a baby, you know, that is a premature. I did mention other problems like diabetes as well. I did mention obesity, even high blood pressure. Extreme high blood pressure that is not controlled could equally lead to premature delivery. So I just wondered, I know that every baby deserves to be healthy. And so we try to educate our mothers, our young women, to bear this in mind. When a baby is born premature, they struggle with a whole lot. I mean, they are not equipped for extrauterine life. And so when they are born, everything from their head to their toe is all immature. And most of the areas that are very critical would be for the baby with breathing, you know, the lungs, even the brain, the sight. So some of the organs gets more impaired or impacted than other organs. So we want to make sure that's why preventative is very important. Some babies will make it, you know, take time and eventually pull through, especially female babies. We don't know why, but that is what I believe. Women are stronger. That's why they're able to survive. You know, that trauma, they kind of shock absorbers more than men. But it is very important that women are aware of some of the causes, how we can prevent them, because prevention, they say, is better than cure. And when you look at the amount of money that is being spent to make sure that a baby survives, you know, through being in the hospital, the stress it causes the parents, the woman's trauma, parents' trauma during that time. And when you look at also the percentage of the survival rate, yeah, we have increased survival rate, but at what expense? You know, some of the consequences, some of the babies that survive when they grow up, they tend to have some challenges when they grow up. They have a lot of possibilities of developing one kind of visual infection, or one kind of or the other, digestive problems. Some of them have the tendencies to even have some mental issues more than others. So we try to, when we consider all these odds that they will go through even in their adult life, it becomes so critical for us to talk about this. Sometimes people just pass through it. We think, yeah, the baby can stay in the ICU for some time and then they're being taken care of. Yeah, but remember, not every baby pulls through successfully. Some of them, like I said, will live with the remnants of, prematurity for the rest of their life. And then families will have to deal with that. And I know it is not an easy experience. Some parents that have gone through that will tell you that. So the preventative aspect is what we are about, and that is why I'm talking about it. In the United States today, in average, every week, over 69,000 babies are born premature. That is really striking. And we have to do everything we can to reduce this number, because it's not good for the population, it's not good for the families, it's not good for anybody. It's not even good for the babies, So I just want us to, I just want us to be aware of this, and also to contribute to, your opinion on what you think this situation could be taken care of, or in terms of preventative. One of the information that we know about prematurity is that it happens a whole lot in minority groups. And the minority groups we're talking about are the African Americans and the American natives. That's the American Indians and the Hispanics. So you think about these three population group, and when these numbers are really increasing, what impact is that making in that group of people? And the other thing is, what could be the cost in this group of people we're talking about? So you think about poverty and the lack of equity in healthcare. We are tracing some of these causes to lack of equity in healthcare, poverty, lack of education, of course, the socioeconomic, and biases. So these are the issues that we all need to be aware of and ask ourselves, how am I being a problem solver in this situation? What is my contribution? How am I raising awareness when it comes to prematurity in babies? We know that the March of Dimes, really for a long time now in the United States, they have been at the forefront fighting to reduce the incidence of prematurity in the United States. We know that it's an ongoing struggle. The issues are great, and we really applaud them for their efforts. I'm not really sure of any other organization that is working to reduce prematurity rate in the United States. And if anybody knows of any other organization, I would like to, know them. And our organization, nonprofit Zita's Healthy Beginnings, is a part of this. We are really educating women, raising awareness, and
hey, dinner's ready.
Advocating and making sure that people understand the critical need to prevent or reduce the number of prematurity in the United States, because it has a negative impact, and unfortunately, the number of prematurity, the percentage in 2020 was, I think, 4% less. In 2021, we have 4% higher rate of prematurity than we had in 2020. Nobody really has an exact reason for that, but we do know that it was really worse than expected. And all we are trying to encourage every one of us is to continue to please create that awareness, help other people to understand the need to talk about this in our families, in our communities, and to really talk to people in power that needs to make the decisions that all of us are trying to work on, and that is to bring good prenatal health, maternal and infant health, set it as a priority in our states. And this is how we can actually reach the women, every single woman, with this information, with the education, with really support that they need while they are pregnant, in fact, before they get pregnant, during pregnancy, during childbirth, and even after childbirth. So we also encourage our grandmothers, those of them who have really experienced birth, to really stand up and speak up. And we feel that these are the ways that we can fight against this incident, because it's increasing and it's not a good representation of a developed world where you would expect that healthcare should be a priority for everybody. But this is what we're dealing with. And then when you think of in the next 20 years, if this high prematurity continues, what's going to be the state of the future? What kind of future are we living for our children? So I'm going to actually leave it at that. And hopefully the information I've shared will help us to, create the awareness, talk about it in our circles, and have people please respond in a way that will be productive, in a way that will reduce prematurity in our midst. And so that by the year 2030 is what they are hoping, that by the year 2030, that this the rate of prematurity should actually reduce by more than 5%. We are hopeful, but it will not just happen if people are not talking about it and doing what they should do and sharing it with other people. That will not happen. So I am glad that we're using this platform to address our audience on this critical topic. And I am so thankful for this podcast, which is brought to you by the World of Abilities podcast in collaboration with Transform You Network and PARC. So I open it up now to everyone who wants to make a comment or ask questions in relation to what I've just talked about. So please unmute yourself if you want to make a comment or ask questions.
I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah, that was great information, Zita. Yes. And also it's so amazing, don't you think, come to think about a baby in the uterus, and all of a sudden it comes outside the world, right? How they can get outside. I mean, all of a sudden, a totally different environment, right? It's amazing to have the baby.
Yeah, Harumi, you know what you just said was actually what made me to become a midwife. That whole thing for me, that's just a miracle, and no one can explain it. So just if you watch how the whole movement goes, you're like, oh my God, this is nothing short of a miracle. So yeah, that drew me to, for me, that's a very rewarding career as far as I'm concerned. That's my opinion. That you watch a woman go through pregnancy, carry something that nobody knows or sees, except these days we try to see them through scan, but even so, you don't see the whole thing. You just have a glimpse of what it looks like, but which really heightens your excitement and make you so being so more even anxious to see more. That a woman carries it for 9 months. I know some people go even beyond 9 months without knowing what's there, but you're hopeful that from the signs and the symptoms that yes, a living being is in there. And then come time for them to come out, even for preterm babies. Some of them will figure their way out. They know how to just come out, and it's so miraculous. Yeah. Thank you for making that comment.
You're welcome. And can you believe during those 9 months, so mother has such an important task to keep the baby healthy, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's why I think one of the reasons we say it's so safe with this like a super lutein, it's got carotenoids, because each carotenoid goes to each individual organ to have a very active, very important purpose on these organs. So it's very important to have a good nutrients food while pregnant. No smoking, no drinking.
Right, right, absolutely. And your product is very important. It's natural. There's nothing chemical about it.
That's right.
Yeah. So I highly recommend it to our young mothers. In fact, before a woman considers getting, having a baby, that you want to make sure that your body is like ready for it.
Yeah, well equipped.
Yes, that your body is well equipped to receive the baby and really keep the baby for that long. 9 months is not 9 days, it's not 9 weeks. Yeah, so you want your body to have that immunity for you and for your baby, because you know what happens. I always tell my moms that if you don't eat well, you're not healthy, guess what? The baby is sapping what you have through the placenta, no negotiation. It goes right through. So it's up to you to take care of yourself so you can stay strong all through pregnancy. You have to, you have no option, because the baby doesn't even want to know what you're going through. The whole thing, the transport is very clear. There's no obstruction. Everything goes straight to the baby through the placenta. So make sure you're well equipped, to carry the baby. And we're talking about one baby. Sometimes they carry more than one, so that becomes even more challenging for the woman. So it's very important that young mothers listen, learn, and make sure that they really accomplish the goals of being pregnant and having a healthy baby. And one of the things that we are pushing for premature babies is, because we know, like, when the premature baby is born, there's a lot that the baby has to struggle with. It's just a survivor. The baby wants to survive. Everybody wants the baby to survive. And breast milk, which we also know as the natural way of feeding every baby, comes into play. Is very critical. We try to encourage mothers to even express it, whether you want to do hand express, you want to use a breastfeeding pump, however you can do it, please do it, because breast milk is best for your baby, especially for premature babies. Because guess what? It is more easily digested. It has all the whatever you need, all the ingredients. It has all the nutrition, the nutrients, all in the right quantity. I mean, nature made it that way. So whatever you give your baby, you don't have to worry about it. And a lot of them get constipation. So you don't want to make the life of that baby more miserable, by giving all this breastfeeding supplements called, artificial formulas. And those ones really complicate issues for the little ones. And we try to explain to the mothers, please, if you can, and I know you can, unless the mom is really in a critical condition where she's not even able to take care of her baby, then you can think of other supplements. But as long as the woman is there, in fact, trying to feed your baby with breast milk helps the baby to recover faster. This is evidence based. So that's what I want to add to that, because as all of you know, I am pro breastfeeding, and I do that because I am a beneficiary of breast milk, and I encourage our young mothers to please think twice, because you're really saving lives, saving your own life and the life of your little one. Thank you. Anyone else have something to add?
Unmute.
Yes.
Can you hear me, Zita?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead, John.
My mom, when I was growing up, was a RN nurse at a hospital called St. Treat's Hospital in Waukegan, Illinois. And she worked with preemie babies every day. And you're talking about 1960, 1970. They've come a long way to deal with preemie babies, but she would come home and talk about all kinds of things that occurred. And I know it broke her heart many times, because some of the babies were really premature, like 3 and 4 months, and they lost a lot of babies. But I just remember as a kid, I didn't really understand it a whole lot until I got older. And I just remember how much it took out of her as being a nurse. And then there were times when she was supposed to go home and she would not go home because she was holding the baby, and the baby was really attaching to her. This subject matter really kind of touched home. It was something I hadn't thought about in a long time, because my mom has been gone for about, she died about 15 years ago. Anyway, I just find this very enlightening today.
Thank you so much, John, for sharing. And I'm sure your mom would be happy too, to know that we've even come a long way, you know, in the way we take care of premature babies. But what is still sad about it is the incident of this prematurity is really sad, because it's increasing instead of decreasing. You would think with civilization, with development and all of that, that we should really be ahead of the game. But unfortunately, we're instead going backwards. And this is not a good sign. Oh. So hopefully we will, continue to fight this battle and make sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Wow, but it's not interesting because maybe because of this so easy things like cooking stuff, so many junk food people eat, right? Without cooking anything to prepare the actual meal, because there's so many choices to get, easy access, yes, and trend compared to many years ago. Like a quality of produce is really getting lower because of the environment we live in. So it's really affecting that way too, I think.
Right. Environment has a lot to do with this. People are struggling. The stress level among young people now is unbelievable. And a young woman who goes through that whole stress and then planning on top of that to have a baby, can you imagine how they juggle all of that? So yes, our environment is no longer as friendly as it used to be. And with other stress and with all of that stuff, that with medications, people are developing all kinds of problems. Like I mentioned, obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, and women now are getting older, you know, when they're having their first babies. We are getting them, and that's also coming from like some want to just enjoy their life, enjoy their youth. Nothing wrong about that, except when you want to have babies, you know, there are certain things that nature will not support, you know, so you're gonna have to, you can't eat your cake and have it all the time, you know. So yeah, being aware of that will really help. And a lot of hormonal imbalances due to some medications, due to the food we eat, some, you know, lack of activities, all of that, they all contribute to what is going on right now in times of prematurity. Yeah, thank you. Kat, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I mean, just feeding into what you just said about women having babies later in life. My wife was 37 when our daughter was born, and I said before the show, it's quite a story what all happened with this. First of all, my family and I were water skiers. We put on water ski shows through the season. So first part of it is my wife was water skiing in the summer. She was pregnant because she didn't know she was pregnant. And so what happens is in August of that summer, we get in a collision. That we were stopped at a construction site, and an elderly lady kind of had an issue with, you know, with stopping, had a little confusion there and started hitting the gas instead of the brake. And so with all that, we got hit 3 times because this lady was confused with the pedals and hit the wrong one. And so my wife had some follow-up, you know, with, you know, her well-being after that collision. And it was out of all the attention with that she then got to learn that she was pregnant. So that was an interesting situation. And then so our daughter was due to be born mid-March, and or 3rd week of March. And then what happens is every year, Sue and I had been running a social event where we have a house full of people, and you know, quite an undertaking that we still do. And so it's the first weekend in February, you know, so here she's pregnant and everything, due 3rd week in March, and she's pregnant leading up to the event. Well, of all things, this is a weekend event, and we do it as a 3-day event. So starting on the Friday evening, we have people over and there's food prepared and all that kind of stuff. And then we have some friends that actually stay at our house, and then other people coming through on Saturday and some people coming through on Sunday, and all of this. So of all things, she's a little concerned, you know, about our baby in her womb. And so she goes and gets it checked out, and they recommend that she goes to a different hospital because of premature birth looking like the situation. And so 6 weeks early. And so it's kind of 2 sides of it. A little story about the topic tonight about a premature birth with our daughter, 6 weeks, and then just a little fun part of the story that we kind of were hosting. Our house was open house. We had a friend that we made arrangements that they could open up our house, and people just, they did our party without us. And then of all things, they conjured up a baby shower because it surprised our friends with this premature birth. So they weren't ready for a baby shower, but with them running a party, they organized it all. And then they were able to put a baby shower together, you know, for us with this weekend. They stayed at our house. And then I was kind of going, you know, back and forth, you know, but the other part of, you know, my experience with it, I don't, probably reading into it ever, but you can't tell with this camera, but I got a pretty big you know, head size here, you know, like I need big caps for this big head. So I just kind of said, well, you know, nature kind of knew that that a baby for me was not gonna go to full term, you know. That it, you have to go with it early, because otherwise you might get stuck in there.
Yeah, your daughter wanted to come out and be at the party too.
Yeah. So of all things, our party, we do it to Festivus and February theme. So if you know anything about the Jerry Seinfeld sitcom, one of the things with the show is during the strike episode, there's a part of this Festivus holiday culture by the Costanzas where they're around the table and there's different things going on. That this Kramer character in the show, he would shout, "It's a Festivus miracle." So that's what my daughter became, the Festivus miracle, because of all things, she was born on our big annual event weekend. So
Interesting. Does she love events?
does she love events?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're a Shosky family.
Yeah. Does she get excited, like in planning and stuff like that?
I wouldn't. Yes and no.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting. She doesn't adopt the complete flair that my wife and I do, but yeah, there is a big component to that she enjoys, but we got to temper it a little bit because it's not to the full extent Sue and I do. But yeah, she does like to plan, like with her birthday parties every year. She puts her work into it to make her birthday parties exactly what they want and all that. Oh yeah.
Good. I was just curious.
So she's only the daughter?
As far as I know, yes.
What do you mean by that? There's a question. So she's a precious daughter.
Yes. That's thanks so
That
much,
is
Kat, for
daughter.
sharing. Yeah. So Harumi, anyone else want to add something? Emily, do you want to add something?
I want to hear from Hannah.
Yeah, Hannah is like,
You haven't heard from Hannah yet tonight.
yeah. Hi, Hannah.
Hi, how's everybody?
Good.
I want to hear.
I'm just sitting here and taking it all in and enjoying this, about the babies. And I think it's fabulous, about breastfeeding now. And I mean, my children, they should live with me. Well, they're adults. But I mean, I didn't breastfeed, I didn't do it, but I always ate very well. But, it's true about, when you're having a child, you need to eat well. And, unfortunately, a lot of women can't, or, they don't have the resources and then you have premature births. But it's a fabulous topic, Zita. I'm really enjoying it. I'm learning so much. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. So, Harumi, you want to add more to the conversation, or you want to share more about your product?
Well, yeah, thank you for the opportunity, Zita. But yeah, because the funny thing is this is Natural Plus, the company was born in Japan, but the funny thing was President, he was asking to the Dr. Kartik, he's the one who really created this super gluten. He was asking him when his wife got pregnant, he was always saying to us, to everybody, it is good, it's 100% natural. So even you're pregnant woman, especially pregnant woman, you should take it for your babies. But the funny thing was, once he found out his wife was pregnant, he had to ask Dr. Kartik about this to double sure. And then Dr. Kartik said, what did he say? But he said, of course, yes, he said, but I thought that was so funny, even though he said to everybody, but when it comes to his own daughter, he was worried. No, it's really safe. So he said, go ahead. Yes.
That's good.
It really helps for the body, balance for what you need on your nutrients. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And like we say, it's a supplement.
Yes.
So
right.
what it means is that you're
Supplement.
yes. So it's not stopping you from eating the food. In fact, you're
Right.
eating for two at least, because some women will, have a multiple pregnancy, and then or some will have a triplet and so forth. So it's good for them to understand that you're eating for at least two people. So you eat healthy, very important, and then you can add, take the supplement, which can really help you. You
Right.
can't take enough of, nourishing food or supplements, because you're sharing it. You're sharing it with another little one inside, and you never know. You want to really be healthy at all times,
Yes.
all through pregnancy. So yeah,
Yes.
we try to emphasize, we're trying to support, we try to encourage mothers. And I know that some mothers, when they're pregnant, some of the prenatal, supplements that we give them, some react to it. Some don't even want to take it. And sometimes, honestly, you're not taking it because you really like it. But when you think of, your baby and the health of your baby and even your own health, you want to pretty much, for the baby's sake, you want to do it for your baby. So I usually ask my moms when they say, oh yeah, I'm tired, I'm sick and tired of taking this. And I'm like, I agree with you. It's not easy. But when you think of, you want to have a baby that is really smart, you want to have a baby that is really going to do very well in life, that will really prompt you to do the right thing. Even when you think you're not hungry, but trying to eat enough for yourself and for your baby really should be an encouragement for you. And you're going to do it for this whole period of time. And then after that, you also still have to consider continuing it for at least 6 months. Some people go for a year. Again, at that point, you are really trying to replenish for yourself what you've lost, and also for pregnant mother, for the breastfeeding moms, you're also doing that so you still stay fit enough to breastfeed the baby and to handle all the postpartum challenges as well. So that's why we try to encourage mothers to really please pay attention, learn, listen, and have family and friends around you who can support you. Because at that point, you really need a lot of support. Nobody does it alone because it's really a challenge. It's a condition that you haven't been, especially for first-time moms, and everything is new. Therefore, you need friends, especially those who have good ones, who have that experience. Make sure you're going to have a doula or a midwife, somebody that will be close to you, who can really direct you. Because Harumi, I like what you said. When the person, got when it became their own issue, they were able to double check. So it's very important that you double check. You have somebody who can say to you, yes, this is good, or wait, double check this with your doctor. All of that are really important during pregnancy, and making sure that everything, goes well for the mother. And it's also making sure that everything goes well for the family, because what affects the mother definitely affects the rest of the family. And then everything spills over to the community, and we are dealing with it in a national level. So yeah, thank you all for contributing. Anybody else has something, comment, questions?
Yeah,
I
when
put my information so whenever people want to get connected,
Yes.
let's get connected. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Harumi.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Kurt.
you bet. So when my daughter was born, I was struck by how much she looked like me. And what people told me is that, yeah, what can happen is that a baby can look a lot like their father, when they're born. to kind of be that nudge to the father, like that little bit of looking in the mirror, like, you know, hey, this is you. Like, you know, it's time for you to be a part of this here. So you were saying about family and friends and so forth. So I thought I'd just chime in there and say, you know, not every baby has the opportunity for that father's role. You know, so what you said is really the fail safe, but there is that fatherhood side of it. And you know, one of the things I remember with my daughter, with her as a baby, is I came up with a flying baby thing. You know, being a show skier and entertainer and everything, I had to make this baby entertaining and call her Alana-tainment. You know, her name's Alana. So Alana-tainment, we did this flying baby routine where I'd have her laying across my forearm. So yeah, my daughter had quite the adventures. So and I'm glad we're talking about birthdays in November, because my birthday's in 22 days. So
Mine is 16.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So November 30th. So in 3 weeks with this show, I'm going to be expecting a little bit of a Kurt Roscoff celebration to help the Australians, their friends in Australia. They need to get that little, you know, wow, world of women shout out to Australia that, hey, it's Kurt Roscoff's birthday over there, November 30th.
It's a national holiday.
Oh, that's great.
Global,
Yeah, global happiness. Yeah, global.
The global holiday, right?
That's right.
Oh, wow, that's great. Yeah. Yes, I'm glad for all the, John, do you have something to say? You want to unmute yourself?
I just wanted to tell Kurt happy birthday. How old are you going to be, Kurt?
It's coming upon my first anniversary of 50 years. So 51 years old. Yeah.
Very
This
good.
is like that premature thing, you know, it's 3 weeks away, you know, it's premature to tell
I
me.
know.
I'll take it.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you everyone for sharing. And you guys know that World of Women podcast is where women thrive. We try to care for one another, for women. We collaborate and we connect with every woman, you know, globally. And we are grateful for some of the responses we've received. People like the podcast, and I encourage you to please continue to support us. Attend when it's possible every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you have any questions, suggestions, please feel free to email me, contact Emily, or even Kat. We are here to, you know, respond to your questions and your comments. So
Yeah.
thank you for coming.
When you come, bring all your friends.
Yes, that's another thing.
Or family too, family.
Yeah,
Yes.
please share this with your friends, encourage them to join you. We really appreciate it. That's why we want to make it in such a way that everyone has the opportunity to make a contribution, because I know this is for all of us. And it's always good when we all can share our own, you know, opinions, and we'll learn from one another, and we support each other that way. So thank you, and have a blessed night and a blessed week. Thank you.
Hey, Zeta, what's going to be the subject matter next week?
So it's so we have her name is Marilyn. She deals with I think it's a innovative technology. So dealing with natural stuff as well, natural
Okay.
patch and all that stuff. So it would be good, since we are talking about prematurity, trying to educate women, you know, on how to live life in a more natural way. to really support and sustain life from utero. So yeah, that's what we're gonna have next week.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So have a blessed night, everyone, and thanks for coming.
Thank you, Zita.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good to see you, Hannah, John,
Thank
Emily,
you.
Harold.